Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. I am so glad you're here. I've been seeing this video circulate on BookTube, and it is reacting to your very first book haul and seeing if you have read any of those books. I have a lot of books that I own and I have not read, so I'm going to be reacting to my very first one, and that is a Thrift Books haul. Almost 3 years ago, or probably like 2.5 years ago that I did this one. It was strictly Christian nonfiction, which now I read a lot more than just Christian nonfiction. I do read a lot of that because that is a genre that I really enjoy and get a lot out of. But I read so much more than that. And back in the day, that's all I read. I don't remember what books are in this haul. I'm rather nervous, and I'll let you know if I've read any of them. Also, sorry if you hear the dryer in the background. Doing laundry. Let's do this. I'm really excited for today's video. It's my very first thrift book haul. I've never ordered off of Thrift Books before, so this is the very first haul, and I got 11 books. I went ham, I went crazy. That's kind of funny because 11 books is pretty standard for me now, but I remember back then 11 books was like so much. Because I'm excited and I've been just like reading a bunch. I also just went to the library today with Nick, and we checked out like 4 or 5 books, I think. Who am I? Who am I these days? I do have to say that back then I hardly ever read. Like, I was just getting into reading, and I remember filming this video, which was like all the Christian books I read in 2018, and I was so excited that I read 14 books. Like, that was an astronomical number for me, which now I generally read between like 25 to 30 plus books a year. 14 books was like crazy, because prior to that year, and I'm not even kidding, the year before, I didn't even finish a single book. And all the years previous, I never finished a book. Maybe like 1 book every like year or 2. I'm a reader again. Having said that, I'm gonna get into the books. These are all Christian books because those are my favorite to read. These are almost all new authors for me. So I'm kind of excited. That's interesting. I'll see if I read a lot of these authors, like if I've read a lot of their books after this as well. Kind of nervous because I don't know if they're going to be good or not. So we'll see. We'll test out my discernment skills. Here's my stack. I do remember. Of 11 books. I'm so excited. Who am I? Like, I've never gotten this excited for books in my entire life. Like, my family, especially like my older brother, would buy me books for my birthday, and I would like never finish them. So he's probably just like not recognizing me at all right now, because who am I? We'll just go from the first on the stack. This I've actually already started reading, and I'm about halfway through. This is The Case for Faith by Lee Strobel. I have read this. Obviously, I was in the middle of reading it during this video, but I did read this and I really enjoyed it. I got a lot out of it, and I think I even did a full review on my channel. I used to do like fully dedicated, just like straight reviews, not reading vlogs, but I have a review of this. And this is the only one I can comment on because I've started reading it, but so far I really like it. And I didn't know that this was like the second book to The Case for Christ, which like is his really popular book. I also own The Case for Christ, but I haven't read it yet. So now I want to also read that one. Either buy it or read it, I'm not sure. I'll probably buy it because I'm really enjoying this one so far, so I know I'll really like the first one. Because I really want to grow my bookshelf with like awesome books that I would be able to like lend out to people. Alright, then my second, that is still a dream of mine, is honestly, one of my Pinterest boards is like a dream library, and I'm talking like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, dream library, tall bookshelves with a ladder that goes across. That's a dream of mine. Cozy, old, like kind of vintage style like reading chairs and nooks and lamps and all that kind of stuff. Like that is not my normal style, but for a library, that's what I want. I have a very small bookshelf in our closet, which we actually just got. Nick just picked it up on the side of the road actually. So love something for free. It's just like a 3-tiered shelf that's maybe like this big by like this big. It's really small. All my books fit on that, so that's like how many books I have. Not very many. Anyways, continuing. My second one is Teach Me to Pray by Andrew Murray, and I got this because he wrote Humility, which is one of my favorite books of all time. Yes, Humility is one of my favorite books of all time. I have not read this one though. Teach Me to Pray. I almost read it. I picked something else over it. So no, I have not read that one. So I was like, okay, well this has got to be a good one then. Teach Me to Pray. What? The next one is Tortured for Christ. This, I think this is an autobiography? Yes, I have read this one. I remember reading a lot of it on the airplane to maybe like visit Nick's parents in San Diego. I did really like it. There are some elements of it that are very hard to read because it goes into some of the specific tortures that some of these Christians had to go through, but it is good. And I have read it. I'm interested to read the book. It's so small. I'll probably read it in like a day or two, so. Okay, so this one was, I think, the most expensive one I got out of the bunch, but I heard them talk about it on a podcast I was listening to. Growing in Gratitude, Rediscovering the Joy of a Thankful Heart by Mary Kay Moeller. I have read this. I am so proud of myself. So far, I have read the majority of the books that are coming up. This is a really great book. It's a short read. I did really enjoy it. I think I lent it to my sister-in-law and she really liked it. I don't know if I still have that one. I might have gotten rid of that before we moved just because I didn't think I was going to pick it up again, but it was a really good read. I do recommend it. Who is the wife of Albert Mohler? I'm excited. She seemed really sweet in like the interview on the podcast, and she was kind of just talking about gratitude and stuff, and I really liked what she had to say on it, so I was like, oh, that sounds like a really good book. Now that I'm thinking of it, I don't really read books by women authors, which is kind of sad. I just feel like sometimes like women authors, they just kind of cater to your feelings and like feeling good, and they're not as like bold. I still think this way. That's kind of a gripe with a lot of females in the Christian nonfiction genre, like female authors. I don't know, they're just like kind of wishy-washy, and I just don't like that. I like someone just to tell me what it is. That's why like some of my favorite authors from like Christian nonfictions are like Vodi Bakum, John MacArthur. Like they don't mince words, and I like that. I want them to just give me the truth, even if it makes me uncomfortable. And with a lot of women authors, I feel like they kind of tiptoe around some of the hard stuff. And for me personally, I don't like that. That's usually why I don't pick up women authors for nonfiction very often. Just telling you how it is and being blunt, and for whatever reason, I like enjoy the bluntness. I don't know, maybe I just need to cultivate a more thankful heart. All right, and then another Moeller. So I've got the wife, now I have the husband. So, and this is called Culture Shift, The Battle for the Moral Heart of America. This sounds so good. It does sound so good, but I haven't read it yet. It was on my TBR to try and read this summer. I haven't gotten to it. There's still some time. We're in August, so it's possible that I could pick it up this month. I haven't read it yet, even though it does sound really good and sounds up my alley. Some other books that I've really liked kind of probably along these lines are Counterculture by David Platt. That one's really, really good. And then Right Thinking in a World Gone Wrong by John MacArthur. Those two are really good with just like culture in general and the biblical way to go about culture and just the different things that can plague us. And then I got Things That Go Bump in the Church, which sounds really funny. I'm really excited for this one too. Mike Abendroth is one of the authors, and I read his
white evangelicals. That is not right. Evangelical white lies. There's a distinction. That's so important.
Okay, so yes, I have read this one, Things That Go Bump in the Church. Highly recommend. Great book. And also Evangelical White Lies, another great book. I'm doing good so far. I did like this one in particular because it did have 3 authors, and I thought that that was really unique. And so each author would take like a different subject and dissect it in each chapter, which was really fun for me. So I think Byron Yon was one of the authors, and he had, I can't remember which chapter, but there's a chapter that like really stood out to me and I loved it, and I wrote so many notes down. So really liked this book.
White evangelicals.
This is explaining the Bible's most misunderstood teachings. So this one sounds so good. This is one of the ones I'm like most nervous about, and the fact that I have no idea if it's going to be good or not. Yeah. I read this and I'm like, for whatever reason, it jumbles in my brain. Celebration of Discipline. The Path of Spiritual... No, see, even that I messed up. I have not read this. I know that I was like wary about it, and I think because I was wary about it, it didn't make me like excited to pick it up right away. I think I still have it. I'm trying to see on my bookshelf. Yeah, I think I see it. Yeah, so I still have it. I just haven't read it. I have no idea if this is going to be good or not. I really wanted a book on discipline. I'm hoping I can kind of glean some stuff off of this. But it just makes me nervous when Eugene Peterson is like the very first person on the back to endorse it. I'm gonna be hopeful, okay?
That's fun.
All right, and then I got another John MacArthur book. This is an older one, The Power of Integrity. I think this one's gonna be really good. I haven't read this one either, and this is on my, my summer TBR. Haven't gotten around to it, not sure if I will. That and Albert Mohler. I've read some of the TBR. I will make a video at the end of the summer to explain the ones that I did read from my TBR, the ones that I didn't. I've read a lot of books this summer, still continuing to read, so I will be like updating that, but I haven't read this one. And then this was one I had to rebuy. This is Not a Fan by Kyle Idleman. I bought this, read it, loved it, gave it to Nick when we were dating, and he was like reading it when he was like going to college, and he would read it probably like in between classes, and then he like lost his backpack. So this was a rebuy, basically. I have read this, but I haven't read it since I rebought it, if that makes sense. I bought it because Nick lost my copy, but I haven't read it since I rebought it. But this one was only like, you know, $3 or $4, and when I paid for it the first time, I think I paid like $17. So save some money when you buy it on thriftbooks. And then because I really liked that book, I wanted to get another one of his books. So this is also by Kyle Idleman, and it's Aha! Awakening Honesty Action, the God Moment That Changes Everything. I have read this one. I am really surprised. I thought that I would watch this and hardly have read anything, but I've actually read, I would say, the majority of the books on this list. This one was another one that I did a fully dedicated review of my thoughts on the channel. What did I just say? I liked it decently, but I don't own it now. I think I got rid of it before we moved. Because I really liked the Not a Fan, I thought I would really like another book by him, so we'll see. And then the last one, I have no idea either, but this is by Philip Yancey, and it's The Jesus I Never Knew. This one is really like tall. I haven't read this one. I do still own it, but I haven't read it. And for some reason, even just like making this now, I'm like, it doesn't entice me, so I'm wondering why I bought it. Yeah, I don't know anything about this. Hopefully it's good. This is my book haul. Oh, so that's it. Okay. I didn't keep track of what I did and what I didn't, so here's my tally, because editing Kendra can go back and and look at all those things. I am pleasantly surprised. I really thought that I was just going to be totally embarrassed by the amount of books that I hadn't read. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really proud of myself. this was fun. This was fun to look back and see what I've actually read. I'll link more book-related videos in the description if you like watching book-related stuff. You can give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe if you're not already. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'll see you in my next video. I'm like, is there something else I need to add? That's it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.